just saw we just saw Total Recall, the remake, and it's interesting. I'm gonna pass it over to Jack, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think.
Okay. So, I actually enjoyed the film. Sort of. I mean, I didn't love it. It's not a great film by any stretch of the imagination. It's pretty good at points. Here's what I liked. Colin Farrell is great. Kate Beckinsale is very convincing. As Jessica Biel is good, and I like Bryan Cranston. I get joy out of it. I don't know how well cast he was for it, but considering he's basically playing the Ronnie Cox part, I think generally speaking, I think the casting was better than the original, but that's about it. Arnold has his own unique charm that he brings to every movie he was ever in. So this is very much one of them, and I feel like the fact that it was PG-13 instead of R also made it lack. It has some logic holes that are pretty substantial, but you're probably best off just enjoying the ride. But it's nothing special. I would say it's a very average action film, but I thought it was well executed. I thought the visuals were interesting and pretty well put together. So for that alone, I'll go better than the 70 I was going to go initially. I'm going to go 75 because I felt like it was very well done. And I like the differences, and I love the homages to the original. I very much enjoyed it.
All right. Well, it's interesting that you said what you said about it, because in a lot of ways I feel that way. So when it comes to action, I have what I think about action, right?
Right.
One, the special effects have to be ridiculous, better than I've seen. In this, I would say yes. Practical effects, spectacular, and and CG spectacular. Love that. Love both of those things.
Yeah, I thought the effects were
the
really
action. Good. I mean, you see Kate Beckinsale do like a crotch punch. She uses her crotch to hit Colin Farrell in the face, and then there was a bunch of like different slides and stuff like that where they slide through, fall through. Very unique, very cool, very different and new. Appreciate that. I say hit, home run. Then I look at the acting. I go, all right, the acting, kind of corny, kind of campy. Was that the dialogue or the actors? Probably more the dialogue than the actors. However, you know, if we take this movie, you know, there's a question in the movie, like whether it's a dream or it's reality. Now, if it's reality...
Yeah, by the way, no spoilers. This movie's been out forever, and it doesn't change that much.
Right. So if this movie is a dream, it's a lot better than if it's...
better.
It works a lot better if it is. If it's not a dream, it's terrible with immense logic holes. I mean, just no reasoning. You know, I'm watching it and I'm like, all right, I'm watching something. It's just action, action, action. Very little story, very little character like development or knowledge of these characters. I mean, the
hero is essentially a blank slate.
Yeah, I mean, they're all blank slates in this whole movie. I mean, there's very little.
They're pretty much each
one
character trait.
You have this build-up to find one of the other characters, then they find that character's on the screen for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, wow. That was actually one of my big disappointments.
It's like, geez. And then, so, you know, while it was cool to look at, had major plot problems. People were very, what's the word I usually say? It's like they characterize them in a particular way, like sort of
one note.
Yeah, one note, predictable. Also, like predictable characters. It's like a sort of I can't find the word right now, but it's just like your typical, like the stereotypical characters.
They don't, in terms of plotting, writing, I mean, it's really, it's by the numbers. I mean, it is paying homage to a movie from the 1980s. Totally by the numbers.
Now, they do set up for a sequel, and, you know, look, I might even be on board for a sequel. I just, you know,
well, if there's nothing
for
else to
me, the original was a classic, spectacular, and I loved it. And that's how it was for me. And in this, I didn't. So, what I'm going to give it it's funny, me and Jack actually have the same score. I'm going to give it a 75, and I'm purely giving it the 75 because of the visual and the action that had good. Now, the action does drag, but there are good bits of the action, and I thought some cool things went on, but mostly unbelievable things. But if it was a dream, then that's what happens in dreams.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, really, as a fantasy that somebody concocted in their brain,
makes a hell of a lot more sense.
It's like, wow, so I'm gonna be a superhero in this,
right.
And it's gonna work out perfect for me.
Anyway, so we're at 5:30. So, but that's a long review, but that's what it is. 75, 75. So if you want to see a movie that's 75 on our scale, then go see it. But if not, I wouldn't blame you.